What is going on, you guys? I know it's been a while. Sorry I haven't been on for a while. I've been dealing with some personal stuff, but we're starting to get back to it and get back to regular life. So just wanted to drop in and say hi. Wow, here we go. Growing season is definitely upon us, and just kind of wanted to take you through and kind of show you where we're at with everything. So chickens are doing absolutely fantastic. We are getting anywhere from 4 to 6 eggs a day from them now, which is awesome. And we also got our second coop set up for the other girls that are going to be coming out here probably at the end of this week. I think they're ready. We're going to be in the 70s, but the lows are only going to get down into the upper 40s, so I think they can handle it. So in here, can't see anything yet, but I just planted a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of glass gem corn. It's all going to be coming up through here. Did plant some bush beans and can't really see much of it. A little bit's coming up, but and then we have our Walla Walla onion starts. They are starting to get green, thank God. Thought I was gonna lose them. You can probably hear the chickens in the back. Potatoes are doing so good. Now we had some kind of cooler weather, not really snow, but it was definitely a cold, wet rain, and we got quite a bit. I think we got probably almost an inch and a half. Sorry guys, we got a lot of noise in the background, but we got about an inch and a half of rain, and with the cold temps, and these guys did fantastic. Now, if you would have told me that the few chives that I seeded last year would be doing this already, I would have said you were crazy. But man, we got some awesome flowers getting ready to come up. We'll definitely be using a lot of these chives this summer. Now, one of the things I did plant some seeds for our mammoth sunflowers, and that's kind of our staple, guys. That's kind of our calling card, if you will, here at Fleetwood Patch. We love sunflowers, especially big ones. So we're going to be having a bunch of them coming up around the edge of the fence there. We're also going to be having some red sunflowers that are going to be going back here. And you might be asking, what the heck is this thing for? Well, what we're going to be doing is pie pumpkins and honey nut squash in this one. This is basically, it used to be part of the chicken's run, but we decided to keep it because it's going to be really good for keeping hail off of everything. And this soil is about as fertile as you can get. We have the compost on top, as you can see, and then it kind of gets a little lighter. Well, what's underneath that compost is actually horse manure and sawdust. So, and it's been sitting there all winter long, and it's nice and broken down. Expecting big things out of this this particular garden this year. Fingers crossed. I love it when they lay those eggs that are so bluish green that it almost kind of resembles grass in a way. Why is it so green? Because they're getting some good nutrition. See what happens every time I mow the lawn? They eat it. No waste whatsoever. But man, beautiful. We were finally able to fill up these planter boxes and get stuff in them. That is spearmint. Now it's getting still kind of acclimated. Like I said, we had some chilly, cold rain past couple days, but it's starting to dry out, which is good. I think this thing's really going to take off here shortly. Same with our Thai basil. I think once it starts to warm up and those roots start to sink down a little more, this is really going to be just filled. You won't be able to see the dirt at all. And for the tea garden, you guys, oh my gosh, we got so much done and so much planted. coming along really nice. I think we only have about maybe 3 or 4 more things we need to plant. We have some chamomile that's been seeded near that pot there, and it's going to kind of cascade out. But other than that, man, it's just about ready. And then we'll just put a little bit of decor in there. If you're wondering what this is back here, that is my raspberries. Now last year I planted 2 raspberry canes, just 2. These things are popping up all over. Not that I'm complaining, I want it to spread out. We definitely wanted to try to grow more this way if possible, get more full. I'm definitely not going to complain about more raspberries. The snap peas held up to that cold rain like a champ. I can see why they definitely call it a cool weather crop. It does fantastic in that cool, humid weather. So this one I think actually has got some tendrils on it, so it's going to be stretching out here before we know it. In the front here, you'll see we kind of have our lettuce mix that's starting to come up finally. And we got a little bit of radishes and actually some turnips kind of mixed in with this as well. The rest of this, with the exception of the onions, is bare because there are so many tomato plants that I did this year. I actually have to have extra space for them. So this is all going to be tomatoes, as is this right here. This entire bed will be tomatoes. Now I'm not quite ready to put the tomatoes out just yet. I think it's still too cool outside. I think we're going to wait till June when it starts getting up into the 80s and the lows are around 50 at night. But what I'm going to be doing this year, which is different, is I'm going to be using this right here, a bamboo pole. And I was wondering if this thing was going to be sturdy enough to hold up a tomato. I bent this thing back, I wiggled it all around, went right back to where it's supposed to. I like the bamboo method. Definitely looking forward to checking that out. So other than that, you guys, we just have a little bit of catmint, and there's probably going to be something going in there again. I'm not sure what yet, but we'll figure it out. These are some snapdragons. Now normally we don't plant anything that's not really an edible or anything that's just for decoration, but this has been my wife's favorite flower since she was a little girl. She loves to go up and squeeze the heads always on these things and make them talk. So every year we find a little spot special for those snapdragons. And over here we got our holy basil. Holy basil's doing pretty good. I think it actually did pretty well through all that rain and everything. So yeah, we're hoping by the end of the season you won't be seeing any dirt here. This thing will be so overrun with plants, flowers, medicinal things, whatever you could think of. Raspberries. There's actually a couple raspberries in between those 3 bushes that I cut out. There's a raspberry in between the 2 there, if that makes sense. So kind of 1 there and then 1 over there. Now this bed back here, this is the one that I made out of, we just had compost sitting back there, and I decided, well, hey, got some extra wood, let's make a bed. But we were going to do pumpkins in there, and my wife brought up a good point. Is it going to get enough light? This is kind of shaded through parts of the day, so, and pumpkins really need a lot of light. So we kind of had to replan where the pumpkins are going to go, and then we went, well, what are we going to do with this? Well, we decided to call this Kale Corner. So basically, there's going to be a lot of kale coming up. We've got about 5 different types of kale that are going to be growing in here. And it's still going to get light. It's just not going to be like intense light throughout the entire day, mainly in the afternoon. But I think this will be really good, especially when it gets closer to September, November, when those leaves get big enough, but they can also start to get a little bit sweeter, because Lord knows there's nothing worse than bitter kale in August. And these here guys, I don't know if you've seen some of my videos where we're growing things inside in our kitchen. Well, this is actually stuff that we brought out from the kitchen. So that is lemon balm right there. And that's your typical just garden sage. And we wanted to give it a chance to really put down more roots and really grow just as tall and as full as it possibly can. And then we're just gonna redo pretty much everything inside the house and start from seed again. Now lastly, I wanted to put this up to you guys. This is our elevated bed that I built last year. It's got a hail guard on it as well. Well, this is where our strawberries were last year. I really thought these things would start to poke out by now, but sadly I have not seen anything. Those of you who have grown strawberries and know quite a bit about it, do me a favor, if you will, leave a comment below. Let me know. I mean, is this normal? I mean, we've had winter hung on for a long time, and you know, we've just had some really rainy weather and not a whole heck of a lot of heat, but some. But I thought something would be coming up by now in these. Let me know your thoughts, because I don't think, if I don't see any signs of life by June, I think this thing's just going to be pulled out, torn out, and we're going to start from scratch and find something else to plant in there. And the wonderful thing about being out in the garden is it's therapeutic. You're starting to see life little by little starting to come back. And that does my heart good, you guys. It's wonderful walking out here, and every other day it seems like there's something new that you didn't see growing before. And there's just so much life happening, which is great. And lastly, this is our columbines. Now, for those of you not familiar with Colorado, the columbine is the state flower of Colorado. We absolutely love it. It is a gorgeous looking flower when it blooms. I will definitely get some shots of that as time goes on, just to kind of show you guys what it looks like. But very beautiful. It's very full. We love how much it's a perennial and it comes back every year, and we love that. Now, for those of you out there that say, well, you know what, my yard's just not big enough, I can't have a garden. Guys, look at my yard. I am not sitting on acres and acres of property, okay? I still have grass. You work with what you got. If it's something you really want to do, if you really have a passion to want to grow your own food, guys, get a garden in there. You can do it. This is definitely a new trend, I think, that people are starting to get more and more hip to, I guess you can say. Gosh, I'm old, hip. But there's places all over where you can grow something. We've got so much stuff that's going to be growing here this year. And again, the yard space, it's not that big. We can still enjoy our yard. We still like to sit out and just look at things. Yeah, there's still a lot of work left to be done. There's a lot of picking up I still need to do around here to get it in good working order, but I think everything's looking good. Obviously, like I said, we're missing tomatoes. Cucumbers are going to be going out here as well eventually. Cucamelons, if you've never grown a cucamelon, do yourself a favor and do that. We're going to be doing the vining beans too, because what we want to do is cover this entire trellis. We like to see this thing covered in green. So, oh, that right there, our hummingbird feeder, that's how you know that the season's finally here. I actually saw a couple hummingbirds out at this thing a couple days ago, and I love that because that's usually the sign that hey, winter's done, man. It's time to get some green going on. So guys, appreciate you joining me today. Thank you so much. If you like what you see here, please like and subscribe. You can always reach us on Facebook, Instagram, or our email, which is fleetwoodpatch@gmail.com. Until next time, this is Jeremy of Fleetwood Patch saying, you got this. Have a good one, you guys.